start with the body. We're gonna get the body cleaned up. We already got the parts all cleaned up. Nice and clean. We got all the film, any type of oil, grease, overspray. We got everything off of the parts. Got them nice and clean. When I get those nice and set up. I like to have all my parts set up so I don't have to look around for them. Everything will be organized. I'm gonna polish. I already polished a few parts. I'm gonna polish a few more as I build the guns to go over a few things. Make sure everything is polished the way it's supposed to be. Polished in sand with, I believe, the 1000 grit. We're going to be using the 1000 grit sheet today. For some of our parts. If we have new parts, we're going to be using those, like these side shields are new. We're going to use these new and replace the old ones. We're going to grab new side seal housing and replace these with the older ones. We've been having a lot of gun changes, so we're just going to try to get out all older parts and replace them with newer parts. Springs and balls we can change out. I always like to change out these springs or just throw them out. We have so many. So when we have a lot of parts, I'll throw them away if the part is not that expensive. Like this spring should not be that expensive, so I'll just switch that out. Start with is the body. So I already started cleaning it off, but I can show you how I. Clean and clear. Open this up. Parts, we want to get them nice and clean. Get all the older grease out of it. See if we have anything like any darker or a different color grease in there, which means it may have been overworking at a point in time. I just look for really dark grease. Good idea of maybe what happened or why we had to do a gun change. So let's get out a lot of the older grease. Get that nice and clear. There's a bolt off here. Oh, this one feels so good. change out that bottom piston. I couldn't get that 7mm on there good. And it's time for that to be changed out. These pieces are not that strong. I think they made from aluminum. So we definitely gonna change out that last piston because it was rough. Alright, again, we're gonna get all the grease off of it. Nothing too dark. On here, nothing too dark. Okay, get it pretty much clear. Don't have to be perfect, it still be a little bit of grease on it. We're gonna have to add more grease. I'll pop off all the O-rings, switch off all the O-rings, replace them with new ones. I like to do that as a replacement. So I'm gonna change out this piston as well. I'm gonna change out all 3 pistons because this looks like it's got some wear and tear. So over time, I just believe these aluminum pistons go bad. So I'm gonna change out these, all 3.
The fuck the hell are you wearing?
I won't be able to edit. I don't got my computer, so it's gonna be a video straight through. So that part may be in there. It's my boy. Not gonna say his name, but yeah, good guy, man. It's a good guy. That's why I need a GoPro. They're not that expensive either. Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't want like a really, really cheap one either. I think you can get like a good one for like 100. Or like the kit. They always come like kits, like one something, like 150-ish. Yup, tripod, the body straps, like, you know what I'm saying? Alright, since we're changing up these pistons, we don't have to get these too clean. Just toss them out. Change out this piston as well. I couldn't even get the 7mm around that bottom piston.
I think that one of those wrenches is fucked up.
Is it the wrench?
I think it's the wrench.
Okay, well, let's see. Well, in that case, I've already threw away like...
This one, or was it the other one that didn't fit?
I already threw away a couple, so that one. Oh man, where is the? Oh no! I might have to keep that piece. I don't think we have any more of those rings. Oh no, we got more. Okay, that is a 1 3/8 air piston. I'm gonna get that new. Try to find a newer one. Okay, this one's pretty good. Use that one. Let's grab a 1/2-inch air piston. Grab that new 1/2-inch air piston, and grab a cylinder, the one that goes in the middle. We'll try to find a newer one of those. So all these pistons have to work together. So a lot of times it's not so good to take them out because based off the body and how the piston was working before, it may have those grooves specifically designed to work with that body. But in this case, I just did not like those, so I'm gonna change them out. We're gonna need a mix chamber screw. Put that in the 3/8 cylinder. The 3/8 air piston. Rather. Okay. I'm gonna need to tighten that up. Tighten that up with a very small Allen. I believe that is I'm not sure. It's pretty small Allen. Alright, so let's add these pistons. Some O-rings. First, I'm gonna put down some grease. I like to lay my grease down a little bit here. Lithium grease and then a little bit of the fusion grease. Just to get it going. Okay. Make sure we got the right size O-rings. So first O-ring we're going to need is 218. 218 goes on the O-ring. That's last. That has the bolt at the back. So we're gonna use a 218 for that one. We're gonna use two for the 3/8 piston, which is a number 8, the really small O-ring, and a number 216. 216 and 218 are pretty similar, so you have to make sure you don't mix those up. Middle cylinder, we're going to grab 27 and a 109. 109 is small, but not as small as the 218s and the 216s. Pretty medium size compared to all the other O-rings. Right, that one goes right in the inside of the cylinder space. Add a little grease on the small one, not too much, so we're gonna add grease inside this cylinder. Okay, now we got all those duped up. We're gonna clean out the inside of this body. Body nice and clean. I just like to go over the bottom once more because I don't have any O-rings on it at the time. Give it a little clean, a little extra clean. And toss this O-ring out. Add more grease. Not too much, just enough to go around the edges. And we can start with the O-ring that goes on the bottom of the body, which is the number 9 and number 17. Then we can add the pistons, starting with the first one, which is the 3/8 piston. And then we add the middle piston. But what I do is I don't push the first piston down all the way. I push it in just a little bit. So when I push this piston in, I push them in at the same time. Very, very easy that way. You can get it on the first try. If not, you'll be trying to push it for quite some time. So, first piston and just partially, and then you get that little spacer cylinder in, and you should be able to push it in all the way. All right, now I can add the snap ring. That's all cleaned off. Just get a little wipe down, make sure no debris on there. So add that snap ring back in, like so. Boom. And now we're gonna add the last piston. In there, back in the vise. 7mm. Yep. So it is this 7mm. It's not that good. Do we got another 7mm around? Oh yeah. But we need that one over there too. I wonder if we got another one somewhere. Well, it's snug, but not too tight, because one of the pieces will snap. To the cap. Just enough. Add that back in. You don't want to hit this too tight either. Nothing you really want to do too tight, but you want to do it tight enough so nothing leaks, but you don't want to over torque anything. And here you gotta remember, everything may have to get broke back down. Just clean that off. And there we have the body all built, ready to go. So we start working on the bottom half of the gun, which is like the Probler head. Side blocks and the air pistons. So I like to start with is my gaskets, which I make with tape. Sometimes I like to use 3 pieces of tape, but that may be too much. You only need maybe 1. But I like to be on the safe side and have it to where it's a lot of cushion to absorb anything that may leak from the sides. That side seal when it's attached. Add the tape to side blocks like so. Make sure you cut out a nice precise hole. One hole. second hole. Alright, Probler is good to go for now. Alright, let's get the rest of the gun built up. So we can grab some Darlin seals, these little plastic seals. I like to replace these often as well too, because these holes, they tend to open up smaller and larger, and the ones when we use them, the holes are pretty large. So I like to stick with the newer ones because the hose is nice, steel, and small. Not quite blew out yet. Then we're gonna add our spring side seal springs that go right inside the side seals, like so. Pretty simple. And once we have that set up on both of our side blocks, we're gonna grab our new side seals and we're gonna grind those. Just rub those across that 1000 grit. Even though they're new, I still like to have it nice and smooth, to have some burrs on it from the manufacturer. Side seals, and I got the side seal housing. I'm gonna grind those down too at the edge. So right here on this part, I'm gonna grind down just a little bit. And that down with grit. Grind that down. Grind these down here. Just a little bit. Right. So now I can add the O-rings to my side seal, which is O-ring number 10. And you want to add the fusion grease. This end of the gun, or this part of the gun, I use more fusion grease than the lithium grease. I think the lithium grease is made for a much higher friction rate. Like the pistons inside the Probler are going back and forth more often. This grease is much lighter. I believe it's for the bottom of the Probler where it's not working as hard. So we're gonna use that. Make sure we have enough on it because we need to slide these inside the side seal housing. So on the opening part, not the part you sand it down, we're gonna put our side seals inside. Also face down, the same side you sand it down, you want those both to end up facing each other, just like so. So we get that inside of there. Add the other side seal. Make sure we have enough grease on it. Get that inside of there. Grab one of the Allen keys and just push it all the way through, like so. Like so. And once we got that in there, we can add it inside of our side blocks. Okay, now that we have that inside the side blocks, we can take a 1/2 inch and just tighten it just a little bit, just to have it snug. I like to put all my pieces in a vise to make sure everything is tight. Not too tight, but tight enough so it won't leak. So just get everything on nice and snug. Cut those in. So now what we're gonna do now is take two springs. Remember, new springs. These we can use new. We have so many of them. Springs. We put them in the back end of there. We take two of the steel balls and we place them inside that same spot, and they're supposed to end up right on top of that spring. I don't know if you can see that like that, but there you go. Then we need to grab two filter housings right here, and we're gonna grab two filter screens, and the filter screens Need to go over the filter housing, but before that we have to add O-rings. Number 14 O-ring. I don't add much grease to this. I just use the grease that's remaining on my hands to use this. I don't believe this needs to go back and forth so much, so I don't add too much grease to that part. But once we got the O-ring and the screen on, we can place it inside of the side blocks. They're both the same, so it don't matter which side. Take the 7/16, you can go around and get that tightened just a little bit. Remember, we're still gonna take it over to the vise. I like to have everything tightened down so it won't move. All right. Grab some tape. And ISO fittings. We need to add tape to. We also need to add tape to the grease fitting that goes on the front of the Probler head. I like to add enough tape so I don't put the fittings down too far, causing the fluid to be restricted. If I have enough tape, it should get tight without me having to screw it all the way down. So now we have that resin fitting. The resin goes on the left side and the ISO goes on the right side, which will be your left facing towards you. Your left, the gun's right. Right, again, ISO fitting, we're gonna add enough tape. So you don't want to screw that all the way down in the side block. It'll be restricting fluid. Just gonna add enough tape so you don't have to go all the way down to get tight. Clear, make sure you don't cover up that hole. Okay. That nice and snug. Put that set over here. This is my mix chamber. We also, I already went across the 1,000 grit with this, but I'm gonna do it again just to show you guys. We've been having a lot of issues with our guns, changing out guns, and I believe it is the mix chamber. We have two different numbers. One has a 2501 and then one has 465. The 465 I believe are not so good. So what we're trying to do now is just switch them out and see which mix chambers are better, so we can keep the right ones ordered and we're in rotation. So now I'm gonna get these parts tightened up. The side block, we're gonna start with the side seal. I don't want to get it too tight, just enough so it won't leak. Tighten up these drilling seals too much, they will smash. They're made from plastic. So I would say about 50 to 75 pounds of torque on each, like the side seal and that filter at the top. And with these fittings, you can just put them down as tight as you can without reaching too far down in the side block. Remember, you don't want to restrict that fluid. Alright, once I feel it start getting tight, I stop. So boom, that should be good enough. The other one. now we're going to add our mix chamber. And our mix chamber, get that tight with a 1/2 inch and a 7mm. And then what we want to do to line it up, we want to face the 1 towards this O-ring. The 9, number 9 O-ring, and it's the number 1 on the mix chamber. I don't know if you can see it, but it's number 1 there. Either 1 or a W. You want to face that towards that number 9. And then you can put the Probler on it, and you can slightly shift it back this way to make sure that everything is lined up and set how it's supposed to be. We're not gonna make it free fall. That's what we was taught before. But when we make the mix chamber free fall, we will always have to break the gun down during process and tighten the mix chamber back up because it will become too loose. So we're not gonna free fall the mix chamber. So make sure it's snug, tight, and when you face it back this way, it still should remain snug and tight. If it becomes loose, you may want to take that Probler head off and retighten that mix chamber up with the 7mm. Alright, not too tight, and that Probler head is snug enough so it won't leak. We need a grease fitting to go in here, and we need an air piston to go here. Start testing out the side seal hole so we can get it lined up perfectly. So let's grab a air piston. Let's overspray off of it. That's about all I can do right now. I'm gonna try to show you guys the video, rest of the video. Not taking up too much time. We're gonna have to start figuring out a way to get a lot of this overspray off these parts without putting them in a soak. Like every part you don't want to put in the soak. Like these grease fittings and the air fittings, you don't want to soak with the rest of your gun parts when you're breaking this stuff down. So a lot of these pistons and air grease fittings may have a lot of overspray on it, but we need to definitely figure out a way to clean them off before we need to use them. That would help. Right, so before we tighten that up, let's try and get us a tip in there. A process we may have just kind of skipped. But this is something that we would have noticed before we had to put it inside the gun to line it up. tip. I have newer tips. Let's just use the go and no-go gauge just to make sure this is a perfect tip. Should fall right off the tip. Insert it in the go gauge, and the no-go gauge should not even enter at all, which is perfect. So let's add that. Put that in our tip housing. Insert that in. Give it a twist. Lock it down with the 1/2 inch. Now we can add another one of those, another spring and ball, so we can add our air piston. We can test it out. I like to test it out is we grab a side seal that we made just for testing out the holes to see if they're lined up the way they're supposed to be. So let's add some air to the gun. Get the tip housing to retract back and forth, back and forth. Okay. We're gonna insert it inside the gun like so. Insert it inside the hole. It looks pretty much lined up for now. We're gonna blow it back and forth to see if it moves or if it's still in the same spot. We will adjust it while it's the next tip housing is outward. We'll do that with the 9/16. So once the housing is outward, you can grab a 9/16 and you can go either back. You back out, it goes up, and you screw it in down, and then it goes down. But since it was lined up perfectly, we don't have to move it either way. Let's just test it again just to be sure. Perfect. Okay, once we got the hose lined up, go out the housing. Pull the tip housing out, take out our tester side seal, and we can add the regular side seals and tighten everything up. hopefully this gun sprays well, but lately what we have been dealing with is a lot of gun changes, so I wouldn't be surprised if they put this gun on and took it right off. That's what we have been dealing with lately. So yeah, we're gonna add the grease fitting, add some grease to the gun, and that will finish the process. That's it. Get this all wrapped up. Catch you guys later.